The Nets and Kyrie Irving are absolutely going through it. Kyrie Irving has just dealt with this insane media storm, right? Kyrie Irving was answering questions with the media. Now Adam Silver's wants to talk to Kyrie Irving for not apologizing, and it's just an absolute mess. The Brooklyn Nets are not any better, right? They are falling apart at the seams. Their team is crumbling as we speak. Kevin Durant doesn't seem like he wants to be there. Kyrie Irving doesn't really seem like he wants to be there. Ben Simmons can't get out of his own way. They are just not winning basketball games. I don't see it turning around, even with the new coach. I don't see a new coach coming in and changing the landscape of this team and getting Kyrie and Kevin Durant to buy in. Also, they fire Steve Nash, and not that that's a huge loss, but it adds to that just dysfunction that is going on with the Nets. They probably should have fired him in the offseason. They chose not to. Even after Kevin Durant said, hey, I want you to fire Steve Nash, they still chose not to, and now finally give it. And it's like Kevin Durant looking like, look, I was right. I told you, you didn't want to listen. Absolute just mess and whirlwind firestorm that doesn't have a resolution or resolve at any point anytime soon. But it also looks, as far as their coaching position goes, point to Ime Udoka stepping in and being the head coach. And if that's the case, it's like the Brooklyn Nets are just falling into the same issues all over again. They want the conversation, the narrative to get back to basketball, but you're going to hire a coach that just went through a major controversy that has kind of died down, but is immediately going to get picked back up if you sign him, with all of the allegations and everything going on with him and the Boston Celtics. So it's just an absolute mess. But if Ime Udoka does become the head coach of the Brooklyn Nets, it may be a sign that they're moving on and that they're moving away from the team that they have right now. Because think about it. And look, let's put on our tinfoil hats here for a minute, right? Now, this is something that Bill Simmons said. I don't know what Kyrie's endgame is, and I'm not sure if there is one. But I do know the Nets have tried to trade him for the last few weeks, and I think he probably knows. I think it's pretty well known around the league there's no takers. So, according to Bill Simmons, the Nets have actually been trying to trade Kyrie and has been interested. We even talked about the report that came out that basically Kyrie Irving is radioactive and that teams do not want anything to do with Kyrie Irving, and that's pretty much done. They wouldn't even be able to give Kyrie Irving away at this point because teams don't want to touch him. But again, you got Ime Udoka going to Brooklyn, and if this is true that they are trying to trade Kyrie Irving, could the Nets just be looking to blow it up, right? Because, obviously it's not working. You're going to bring in Ime Udoka. Yeah, maybe Kevin Durant will give it a chance and want to try it, but I don't think Ime can come in even as good of a coach as he is. Even if all the controversy and everything surrounding it just goes away. Even if the Brooklyn Nets let's say they get Ime tomorrow, all is right in the world with the Nets, everything gets back to the game of basketball, I still don't think that they're going to be able to turn it around. I think the damage is already done. Likely something else is going to be on the horizon. The Brooklyn Nets are on just such a huge, huge microscope, and they got a big spotlight pointed on them for any little thing. They're falling apart at the seams. Kevin Durant just wants to hoop, and he wants out. It's clear just by the body language and everything that he doesn't really want to be there. Kyrie Irving doesn't really want to be there. Ben Simmons can't get out of his own way. It's just a mess. And what if the Brooklyn Nets are like, you know what, let's get Ime Udoka and let's do the trade with the Celtics, right? Let's go hit them up, go get Jaylen Brown, Marcus Smart, and like a Derek White. Got Ime Udoka. We're probably not going to be able to trade Ben Simmons because he has no value, but maybe Ime can kind of get the most out of him. Talk to the Lakers, be like, hey, go do a trade, go get Miles Turner, and we'll give you Kyrie Irving, and there you go. All is right in the world, right? You swap Kyrie Irving and Miles Turner, and then they trade KD. They get a couple firsts. They get Derek White, Jaylen Brown, Marcus Smart. If you're Brooklyn, you have a much, much better team than they currently have right now, and it's a nice, fresh start with real defense, real offense. You're better on both sides of the ball, hands down. Think about it. Imagine a starting five of Marcus Smart, Seth Curry, Jaylen Brown, Ben Simmons, and Miles Turner. Not to mention, you still have Joe Harris, Patty Mills, TJ Warren, Nick Claxton, all of these guys off the bench. Cam Thomas, everybody off the bench, right? This is a good, deep team that can shoot, can play defense, can score the balls, got good coaching, got everything. You would be a much better team. Brooklyn finally gets to move on. The conversation finally gets to be about playing basketball. You don't have anybody you have people that actually want to be there. You have familiarity with Ime Udoka, all of that stuff, right? And if you're Kyrie, you want nothing more than a fresh start right now. Because all of the conversation, all of the narrative, all of everything is what he posted on Twitter. And just this whirlwind, right? Very likely the Lakers, I still believe, would take him in a heartbeat. Like if the Nets called the Lakers right now and were like, hey, we'll just give you Kyrie Irving, or like just go get Miles Turner and we'll trade you and swap him, I think that would happen immediately. I just think, the Lakers very likely, if it is on the table, and Bill Simmons is right, I think the Lakers want to wait for this to die down, because once it dies down, then they can kind of just focus on the game of basketball. But here's the thing. If, let's say Kyrie Irving got traded tomorrow, as long as it's to the Lakers, I think the conversation changes. And I could be completely wrong, but I really do. Because right now the conversation is just because the Nets are so dysfunctional, everything's going on with Kyrie Irving, this and that. I mean, I don't think like it just completely goes away. But I think the media circus that is going on right now with the whole Kyrie Irving situation, I think that goes away. Because the conversation immediately on ESPN and all of these networks, they're not going to want to talk about the Kyrie thing anymore because it's old news. It's irrelevant now. Who cares, right? Because Kyrie Irving just teamed up with LeBron James. Kyrie Irving just went to the Lakers. Are the Lakers good enough for Kyrie Irving? No, all of the conversation, everything changes, right? The whole narrative gets spinned. Everything changed. Like literally, it would be if you're Kyrie Irving and you want to get out of this situation, you're forcing a trade to the Lakers, because I think the conversation would change entirely. Because the only reason that these media people are talking about it so vigorously is not because they give a shit. It's because it's a story that'll draw headlines, that'll draw attention, that'll draw media coverage, and they want to be part of the action, right? Well, if you can make a big enough change to where the media and all of the networks and everything basically have to switch gears, that would do it. But I don't think that would happen if he went to like the Knicks, or if he went to it would have to be the Lakers, because you're talking LA, you're talking Kyrie and LeBron teaming up again. You're talking, are they a legit championship contender? Are the Lakers now the best team in the league? I think it completely changes everything that is centered around Kyrie Irving right now. Now, obviously, if chaos ensues later on, then yeah. And if the Lakers aren't winning, then I think chaos could ensue again. But going under the assumption of Kyrie coming to Lakers and that results to winning, which I think it would. We have a top 3 defense. We have, everything except for scoring right now. Kyrie solves all of our problems. Shooting, scoring, playmaking, everything, right? You go get Kyrie Irving. I think that completely changes the conversation. I think that completely changes the narrative. Lakers start winning. Nobody's going to care. We've seen people do much worse things, and everyone just forgets and doesn't care anymore because that player is winning, or that player goes to a specific team, or whatever. So it's just the world we live in. And I really think a trade for Kyrie would be great. And I think right now his value is so low. Like, now would be the time to strike. Like, if Rob Pelinka was ever going to try to trade for Kyrie Irving and ever wanted to get Kyrie on the cheap, you're calling him right now, because you probably could get Kyrie Irving and still keep one, if not both, of your draft picks. Because it's like, what are your other options? Kyrie Irving isn't going to stay in Brooklyn. He's going to leave you. Kyrie Irving leaves you, you're stuck. You have nothing. Not just that, there is not a single team in this league that would take a chance with Kyrie right now because of all the controversy and mess that's going on. But we are the Lakers. The media is different. Everything is different when it comes to the Lakers. We got LeBron James. I don't think the Lakers would want anything to do with Kyrie Irving unless they had LeBron James, which they do. I think LeBron James is kind of your ace, right? LeBron James is the one factor that kind of changes the narrative and changes everything, right? Because it's like, oh, we got LeBron. LeBron and him are a proven commodity. We know that they can win a championship together. Not only do we know that they can win a championship together, but LeBron James is the kind of guy that understands Kyrie. Kyrie respects. Kyrie also loves and admires and obsesses over Kobe Bryant. I think it would just be a new, fresh change for Kyrie and the Lakers. I think the whole narrative would change. I think Kyrie would be a different person. I mean, he's still going to be the same guy in many ways, but I think at least momentarily. My concern isn't as long as LeBron James is a Laker. As long as LeBron is a Laker, I think Kyrie will be fine. You know, you'll have a couple moments here and there that are like, all right, like, come on, dude. But for the most part, I think it'll be okay, and I think you're going to have success. My concern is after LeBron leaves, what happens with Kyrie Irving and just that organization. But I think in general, I think it'd be the best scenario for Kyrie Irving, and it might be the best scenario for the Brooklyn Nets at this point. Get off of it. Let it go be somebody else's problem. Like, be done with it. Right? But it seems like the Brooklyn Nets love this controversy. What else is it? Every decision they have made, they've known would lead to controversy, and yet they still did it. And every single decision has blown up in their face. At what point do you say enough is enough and blow it up? Again, I don't necessarily think this happens like tomorrow or overnight, but I do think it's getting more and more likely that Kyrie Irving is going to be wearing a Laker uniform in the next like month or two. I really do. I think Kyrie Irving's going to Lakers the next month or two. I wouldn't be shocked if Kyrie starts pushing his way out of Brooklyn, especially if Bill Simmons is right and that the Nets have been trying to trade Kyrie Irving and Kyrie Irving knows about it. You got to imagine that he wants out of there. So I just think it's sooner or later it's going to happen. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion, so I want to hear from you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comment section below. What do you think? Do you think, yes, the Nets need to get this done? Lakers should go get Kyrie. Do you think the Lakers should stay as far away from Kyrie Irving? Do you think the Lakers should wait till this boils over and then maybe make a play for Kyrie? Or do you agree that, like, if Kyrie came tomorrow, the conversation, the narrative would completely change? Because I really do. I really think if Kyrie came to the Lakers tomorrow, this entire media frenzy, all of this stuff that is going on with Kyrie, I think would just end. I mean, the Adam Silver's thing, I think would still happen. I think Adam Silver's would still talk to Kyrie and all that. But I think the media circus that's going on right now, all of that would just go away because they would have no reason to talk about it anymore. And they don't care. Like, that's the thing. Like, all these media companies try to pretend like they're righteous and they really give a shit, but they don't. They could care less. They want the next headline. What's the next headline? What's the next story? If you give them a big enough headline and a big enough story, they're going to run with that rather than what the past narrative was. And that means Kyrie Irving, that whole conversation, all that stuff will just go away. I really think that would happen. We've seen it happen so many times in sports and media and celebrity and you name it. It happens, right? Something crazy, a celebrity or an athlete or a star or somebody does something, you know, that the world frowns upon and that the media hates or whatever, and regardless of how bad it is, and then something happens that shifts that, and no longer that's the conversation. That's just the world we live in. But again, love to hear your thoughts and opinions, good, bad, ugly, somewhere in between. Let me know down in the comment section below.